What's happening, Internet? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Arkham Origins. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Today is a special thing with the Bruce Wayne Initiative DLC, I believe. So it's ninja time, because you guys really wanted to see this. I was kind of done with the challenge maps, but I guess we're going to do Bruce Wayne. I don't know if we're going to do all Bruce Wayne. That's up to you guys. You guys can vote for it. We'll see. I don't mind doing all the challenge maps as Bruce Wayne, but his gadgets aren't as good, which makes it a little bit more dicey, but it is what it is. But hopefully you guys are having a fun day. Sorry for the late start, but I am the slowest typer in the world. It takes me at least 30 minutes to do the newsletter by myself. Advertising on social media takes time. We have no social media manager. We have very few help with that. So I do all that on Facebook, Twitter, all that other stuff. And what else did I... Oh, yeah, I filmed a cat short. I completely forgot about that. Thank you guys for watching the link thing, by the way. So, anyway, let's dive into this. We're going into challenge mode and Bruce Wayne. Yatta. And I can't stand this one, so we're doing this one. There we go. Alright. So how do we do the campaign? It's just like this. No. Should I get accustomed to playing as... No, we'll do... It's the Rise of Passage. Yeah, this is it. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. Rite of Passage. Bruce. Yes, they announced... what was it, on Friday? They had a meeting with somebody. And I don't even know who the owner is of GameStop, but they announced they're going to be closing 400 stores in the U.S. between January and the summer. Now, that doesn't mean every single GameStop will be closed, but that's not good. And in comparison, just so you know, before Toys R Us went bankrupt completely, the 2 years prior to their bankruptcy, they ended up closing hundreds of stores. So, closing a lot of stores is not a good business model. Now, there's a lot of reasons why GameStop is having problems. You have, I wouldn't just say the rise of digital content. Digital content's been around for a while. But the fact that you have more publishers that are releasing digital only, or they're not releasing physical games like Nintendo, it really does put a strain on the physical market. You can also buy physical games from Amazon, Walmart, Target. You don't technically need a specialty game store anymore because it's possible for you to get the games from just about anywhere. And a majority of gamers do buy their games from like online retailers like Amazon. You know, it comes directly to your door. You cut out the middleman. Some people don't even like to go into stores anymore after the pandemic. So, you know, there's lots of factors. I like physical games. I like digital. As long as I can play the game, that's all I care about. You know? I'm not really big on the whole whatever. Doesn't bother me. What does bother me, though, before we get to the Bruce Wayne DLC, me talking about certain things that have nothing to do with Batman, it's a cause and effect. When I get harassed, when I get DDoSed, topics do change. I was just talking about Power Rangers and G.I. Joe in a positive manner, and I got, like, cyber attacked for, like, 30 minutes. So I was in a very bad mood last night, but there's a cause and effect. I don't just randomly go off on hinge rants. It has to do with what's happening. ADD people respond to things in real time, you know. Also, we're not very good at hiding our emotions or our anger. That's, you know, it's just what ADD people do. But there's always a cause and effect. As long as I'm not pestered with anybody, then I'm not going to pester anybody. But if people come after me, I go after them. I fight fire with fire. You know, that's just how I do things. But anyway, let's get into it. Oh, wow, they're going to start you off with timed right away? That's mean. You have 4 or 5 retries. And you don't get a choice on what the amplifiers they give you. Oof. It makes sense not only because it's digital games, but also, yeah. But I mean, you know, I go to a lot of local video game stores. I don't tend to go to GameSpot very much. And in my area, there's a couple mom and pop game stores. They're not very good at getting, like, pre-orders per se, but they do have a wide variety of games that GameStop doesn't have. GameStop is good for getting pre-orders, but let me ask you this. If you're really interested in playing a brand new game, right? Are you really going to go to a store like GameStop to reserve it, or are you just going to buy the game at midnight in the comfort of your own living room? Like, for me, it's like, yeah, I love physical games, but I don't have room for them anymore. Like, if you look around my house and you've seen my bookcases are filled with anime. They're filled with game collectibles, DVDs, cartoon shows, 80s and 90s sitcoms, Nintendo Power magazines, Batman books. I have no room in my house for another bookcase. I don't have any room to... Even if you go upstairs in my office now, I don't do a lot of tour of my office because I have games and anime just like strewn about. There's no place for them. Majority of the games that I do and I cover, I get them digital because, for one, it's easy to store them. But there is a downside to digital. Digital games get erased. Digital games, sometimes, like we saw with PS3, if something happens to your PS3, then you can't access those digital games because you have no way to log into the PlayStation Network anymore. You know, there's no way for the system to recognize that you were ever online. So that's what happened to a lot of the digital games I bought on PS3. And thankfully, you know, back in the day with PS3, I bought a lot of physical. But there's downsides to physical, there's downsides to digital as well. But as someone who's been a gamer since like 86, not every physical game I bought still works. There's tons of NES and Genesis games that I put them in the system, they don't turn on. Because they're old. You know, nothing lasts forever. Digital, physical.
Today, an outsider takes our test of honor to see if he is worthy of our training. Out of pity, we let him eat with us, drink with us, train with us. And now we shall see if he is truly one of us. Begin.
Where is Amber? Amber's fast asleep. She'll be up for the Marvel Ultimate Alliance stream. They had her work a very long shift today, and there was problems at the restaurant. She was training a new employee, and not only did Amber have to worry about the cooking, but she also had to train the new employee, and things didn't go well. Which put them in a bind. They ended up messing up the coffee that was made, too. Like, there's a certain way that they blend the coffee at the restaurant Amber works at. It's like one of the first things that you do when you go to work at like 4 in the morning. And the newbie messed up and added salt, I believe, or something. So it was a huge disaster. But Amber's exhausted, so you'll see her on Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We'll be playing together. I don't... Look... I don't really want to get into the Tim Drake stuff too much because that's a, you know, I'm very passionate about that. But I don't believe when DC says they're giving us back classic Tim Drake. I highly doubt, and I will eat my Robin hat that I have from the 90s, but I don't think that you'll see straight Tim Drake. Like, when you change a character's sexuality, it's permanent. Like, you're not allowed to switch back. You're not allowed to even... I believe in flashbacks and stuff of comics, they're, like, completely erasing Tim and Stephanie and things like that. So when they say classic Tim Drake, I think of pre-52, Tim Drake with Stephanie Brown, Tim Drake that liked girls, Tim Drake that was a geek and did computers and stuff like that. And I understand the guy who's working on the movie, who's doing, like, the 4-parter, is, like, half Asian, and he's done a lot of... manga stuff, so there's a slim possibility, but I don't trust companies. I don't think so. I think we'll see Tim Drake's personality, but I think they'll find a way of weaseling Bernard into it. That's my bet. And if they do, I'll probably end up boycotting it, because I hate Bernard. Bernard is basically the Paul of the DC Universe. He serves no purpose. None. But, you know, I would love to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I just don't think I am. That's the only problem I've ever had with that stuff, is if you can change a character back with whatever character, like, creator or writer comes into the fold, then I don't think anybody would have a problem with race swapping, with changing a character's gender, anything. It's the fact that it becomes permanent on a character that you've loved your entire life, that's the problem. You know? That's where a lot of this animosity and stuff stems from, too, with fans, is people like their characters being a certain way, and when you change them forever, you know, they're gone. It's like they're dead. But I would love it. That would be great to bring back classic Tim Drake, but it never happened. They won't even allow it in an Elseworld story. It's just, it is what it is. The only straight Tim Drake that we have right now is Batman Beyond, in like a special comic book with Mr. Terrific, and the end game is all those characters that are outside of time, they're going to die. So the Tim Drake that became Batman Beyond, which is like from a pre-52 universe, he is probably going to be erased from history. Like, I don't see him surviving. He's the only other Tim Drake in the multiverse that's not like Tim Drake. Like current Tim Drake. Oh, I agree. Nightfall is one of the greatest Batman arcs of all time, and it was one of the longest. It lasted for a very, very long time. It's also very funny about Nightfall is, for a lot of people who came to Batman, like became fans of Batman, when we were introduced to Batman with things like the animated series, Bruce Wayne was on TV, but he wasn't Batman in the comics. That was an incredibly big gamble. Like, Batman was Bruce Wayne in the movies, and he was Bruce Wayne in the video games and the cartoon show, but it was a different man under the mask when Batman the Animated Series first began. And when its run almost ended, it was still Gene, I believe. I think Batman came back. Prodigal with Tim Drake and Dick Grayson was 1995, I believe. Nightfall was 93 through 1994 and early 95. I think Night's End ended at the end of 94. And then Prodigal, where Nightwing took over the cowl of Batman. So Dick Grayson was Batman for like 3 months for an arc. 3 or 4 months. It was like 4 issues, I think. And Robin had his own like connection to Prodigal as well. Like Tim Drake and Nightwing working together as the dynamic duo was very interesting. I think it's what like solidified a lot of people's opinions of like Nightwing and Wait, I can't break ninjas as a weapon? Wait. He can't. Shouldn't I be able to break weapons? Did I have the same complaint years ago that you couldn't break weapons with Bruce Wayne? Was that... Ow. Was that a correct assessment, or... I thought he could break weapons. Rich man's son. Ouch. I love how they're using, like, bamboo riot shields. That's funny. Okay, you can do takedowns. But... I didn't do very well. I'm on my last run, aren't I? Uh-oh. Can you do cape stun attacks, like beatdowns, like ba 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 ba? Like what can this Bruce do? He has a back claw, okay. Does he have throwing stars? He does have throwing stars. What else does he do? Oh, okay, he throws the things on the ground. Got it. Okay. And he has shurikens. There we go. Okay. Prove you belong. Okay. I hate to trip you up, ninjas, but... That's fun. Okay. So I can do that. and make people fall on their feet, but I can't, Aye! But Blue Spotty, I would love if we could get, like, old school Tim Drake, but it's just a marketing term. People are so disenfranchised with Tim Drake these days. When people say something like, oh, the real Tim Drake is coming back, or, like, classic Tim Drake, it just means, like, he's gonna act like a nerd and stuff. You're not gonna see the Tim Drake you grew up with. That character's dead. Unfortunate, but true. Whoa! He did it when I jumped! No! No! I'm not gonna get all the medals. Crap! I want to do that again. I need to do that again! I failed! No! But you have to remember, I'm a pessimist, so, you know, I don't trust people. I don't trust creatives, any of that stuff. I don't want to retry challenge. I want to retry the whole thing. Because I failed. I should have been using gadget integration and things like that. How do I go back? How do I go back? Yeah, try. Is it gonna reuse one of my retries? Oh, I get unlimited tries on the first map? Try not to fret? Okay. Alright. I will take your advice on that.
Bruce, you are a disgrace. Combat.
You are a disgrace, Bruce. Okay.
Today, an outsider takes our test of honor to see if he is worthy of our training. Out of pity, we let him eat with us, drink with us, train with us. And now we shall see if he is truly one of us. Begin.
I wouldn't say sold. I mean, if I would have started using the gadget integration, I finished at like 67,000. I was short of 70, yeah, of course. But
He thinks he's one of us.
He is not one of us because he is rich man's son. As Kyodai Ken would say. Haha. There we go. See, gadget integration is key. Yaha! Yaha-hee! Yaha-ho! Yaha-ha-ha! Excuse me. Bam. Whoa! Yeah, but and I was talking about somebody about this on DMs and stuff like that. I highly doubt that it's just a buzzword because people are so disenfranchised and angry at DC for Tim Drake that they think when they hear classic Tim Drake, they're like, oh, so we're really getting pre-52 Tim Drake. We're getting straight Tim Drake. It's like, no, you're not. I was even telling a longtime fan, he's like, I might actually, you know, we might actually see classic Tim. It's like, no. It doesn't work that way. Once the character's changed, it's forever. Whoop. If people were allowed to be fully creative, then they could change characters on a whim whenever they wanted to and change them back to their base and origin, I guess you could say. But it's never happened. Maybe someday, but I don't know. Not with our current, like, very toxic online culture. It'd never happen. Creatives would be harassed and things like that. There'd be fans that would be happy. There would be more fans happy with Tim Drake becoming straight than Tim Drake remaining boy crazy. Like, the amount of fans that like Tim out of the closet is very few and far between. compared to the millions of people that were devastated about what happened to Tim and Stephanie. But the majority, you have to understand, the majority doesn't matter when it comes to decisions like this. They always cater to the 1%. They always, you know, ignore the majority fans. That's why, like, the video game industry suffered for so long, too, is they were listening to voices of, you know, very loud few and ignoring the voices of the people that were actually, you know, the majority of the product. And that's how the whole war between those two factions started, is you had the developers, instead of listening to the gamers, they were listening to non-gamers and trying to cater to their sensibilities and ignoring us. And eventually, you know, when game developers started to treat us like the middle child when we were, you know, priority for the longest time, people got fed up. It's a normal reaction.
No chance.
See how gadget integration works, though? Like, even though Bruce doesn't have the best gadgets, incorporating them into your combos makes this cake. I'm easily going to hit the 70,000 this time without any problems. Like, no problemo whatsoever. I still might get hit once in a while. I'm not EV, but I'm no stranger to these types of games. In fact, the fact that I can hold a deep, profound conversation while punching crime in the face is actually pretty impressive if you think about it. You know, I'm just going off on responding to comments while easily scoring 60,000 points in just 2 runs. That's something else, isn't it? Ow. Boink. I know I shouldn't be here. I want it to be a, I don't know what I want it to be. I had a lot of things I wanted to be as a kid. Still not giving up on the whole voice actor thing, but I'm gonna try that in my 50s. See, look at that. 2 runs, 70,000 anyway. Boom. Bingo bongo. Oh, that was the 3rd run. Okay, you know what? Fine. That was round 3. Still, we already survived. Hooray. Well, I mean, it's going to get worse once Netflix arrives, because Netflix will listen to the voices of the few instead of the voices of the many. There are so many people that want Batman to be race swapped, and they want it permanent. They want Dick Grayson to, you know, like men and dump Batgirl and her to be okay with it. And they want... What else do they want? I think they want Jason, too. They also want to change Alfred. They want to change Superman. And they'll never be happy unless they get their way. And once they get their way, they still make more demands. You know, they're saying that Tim isn't enough. They need another Robin now. So, I mean, you know, it's just... Netflix, unfortunately, is one of those companies that they chase the progressive train, and it doesn't matter how much battle damage and how much money they lose, they don't have their head in the right place. Whereas Warner Brothers is like, you know, they do cater to the smaller voices, but at the same time, they're not that crazy. But with somebody like Netflix owning them, and their intellectual properties, it's going to be a disaster. And it's just, you just know it's going to be. But Netflix has its own woes, so, you know. Like I said, I think Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers, and I think in 3 or 4 years, Netflix is going to dump Warner Brothers, because it's going to be a disaster.
This will be humiliation.
Whoop. But, I mean, you know, that's what it is. And unfortunately, it takes a long time for fads to disappear in, like, Hollywood and the game industry. Although the game industry is actually more immediate. And the game industry had a huge positive impact about, you know, all the games coming out. We now have, and this is amazing, but there are now 17 anime studios that have all rejected American globalism, which is the new term for woke, by the way. They have completely, outright rejected it and they are not going to listen to any modernization for American like influence in anime ever again. So, based on all the shenanigans that happened with the game industry and some things that were starting up in anime and manga, Japan is done. So, I mean, there were things that happened that were bad, but you have to understand the future now is very bright. If you enjoy anime the way it's supposed to be with, like, you know, Japanese culture and storytelling and not trying to check off boxes like a Western TV show, then you should be very happy with RE0, SAO director, Dan Dan Dan. Who else did it? The people behind Bleach, the animation studio behind, what is the name of that anime? I believe The Cautious Hero, people who did School Rumble, people who did, and they've done several projects after that. And so many anime studios are just now standing up for themselves. They're all saying the same thing because they don't want their industry to crumble. And when you incorporate stuff that people don't like, it impacts your business whether you believe it or not. It's not like some type of fairy tale. It does harm your profit margin. It just does. It's not to be mean or anything, but that's just reality. You can't change reality just to, you know, cater to people's feelings. It doesn't work that way. How can you make money? I always thought you would actually fight Shiva early on, but that's just a female ninja. This is timed again, too. Smash landing, great moves over the ledge. This one's not too bad. But this is a predator. So this is Shinobi. Shinobi, what is that, Ryu? Or Iru? Iryu? But I'm very happy with the anime directors sticking up for themselves because they were being pressured by localizers and all these other people to be like, you know, we need to do what the West is doing. We need to follow the West. And what made I don't know if you guys saw this, a Japanese creator was responding to a localizer, which their job is just to translate a show in their language, had the audacity to say that they are part of the creative process of releasing anime in the United States. And a Japanese like anime director saw what the localizer said and he hit the roof. Because a localizer is not a creative person. They're a person that takes the show and translates it into their language. That's it. They do not have the ability to change a character's personality. They don't have a character. They don't have a way to... sure, they could write whatever they want, but that's not the intent of the author. So these localizers in America are just insane, you know? And that never happened before. Like with anime, people just do their job. They translate it into their English, maybe make like a little bit of slang or whatever. But they wouldn't go out of their way to like change a character from feminine to feminist, you know? But that's what they're doing. They're taking these strong female characters, and in America, they're changing their wording to represent things that was never the author's intent. Like a shy girl then ends up saying all kinds of weird stuff, or, you know, a character that primarily likes boys now says, well, I might have experimented with women. You know, that kind of stuff really pisses Japan off because that's not the type of show they're making. They do that stuff with their specialty genres, and these localizers, you know, they're living their fantasy life through these characters that they have no right to mess with. And Japan has just basically hit a boiling point. They're done. And that needs to be applauded, you know? This is Shinobi. Shinobi tonight. What do I think about the dark pattern comic you told me about? The dude who basically is like Hellraiser with all the spikes over him, and if Batman punches him, the guy will die. And it's kind of like a serial killer type story. I mean, it sounds okay, but we had a lot of serial killer stories for Batman in the in the 90s and the 2000s. From what you're saying, though, and the only thing that I will agree with you on, Blue Spidey, is I said that a lot of DC Comics are propaganda now. And the story that you were telling me about doesn't sound like propaganda. It sounds like a storyline I've heard from 30 years ago, like from Chuck Dixon or something, but it doesn't sound like it has, you know, anything that I would quote-unquote disagree, as long as Batman's just trying to solve the murder, save people, and things like that. I don't have any issues with that. But you have to understand, my stance comes from seeing creatives wilding out that are, you know, DC employees saying all kinds of crazy things, and it's hard for me not to believe that they wouldn't put that stuff in their books because they're not very intelligent people. The things that they talk about always end up in their books, just like I could tell where the game industry was going 10 years ago just based on people's, we'll say, carbon footprint online. It was very easy to predict where the game industry was going, and I wasn't wrong with it, by the way. People lived up to the stereotypes that they created for themselves online, and they bled it into their work. So I'm happy that there are some, you know, Batman stories that don't incorporate a lot of that stuff, but I still believe I'm correct that a majority of Marvel and DC Comics are very much in line with what the authors spout on Twitter and Blue Sky every day.
The foreigner is full of surprises, but fighting alone does not make him worthy. To train with us, you must be able to use the environment and strike without being seen. If you see him, shoot him. And if you shoot him, shoot to kill.
Yes, because ninjas use guns to shoot people. That makes so much sense. But ninjas don't have a code of honor, so it's fine. Alright, so we got 1 minute and 26 seconds to do this. Smash landing. Smash through a weak ceiling into an enemy and take him down. That's going to be super annoying. Do I have to get all the medals? Did I get all the medals when I tried to do this years ago? Or did I just go through it? Hang from a ledge and pull an enemy down. Perform a takedown while crawling under a floor grate. And it's all timed all the time. Yikes. Well, the funny thing about Blue Sky is just an echo chamber for one group. There are people of other, like, you know, groups and whatever over there, but they get harassed all the time. I tried to make a Blue Sky. It got erased like relatively quick. I didn't even have a chance to be like, hey, I have a Blue Sky. Like, somebody over there saw that I created a Blue Sky. They made a post, and then within 24 hours of me activating my Blue Sky said, we, you know, basically we're terminating your account, blah, 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 blah. They didn't give a reason. They said community guidelines or something. And I didn't even post anything other than, hey, I'm on Blue Sky. You know? I was just kind of like, all right. I did get all the medals last year? How did I do that? Really? I managed to pull off smash landing, great moves and stuff while it was timed? Oh man, I'm just getting worse at this game then. All right, I'll try. I'll try, but I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this off. Not with a time limit on. Smash through a weak ceiling onto the enemy to take him down. Perform a takedown while crawling under a floor grate. That one's not difficult. Over the ledge. Hang from a... Okay, pull an enemy down.
2 seconds for every student you incapacitate or kill. Doesn't matter. Find him!
Just don't psych yourself out, I guess. Whoopsies. Whoopsies! I failed already. Yeah, I suck. That's bad of me. Well, I mean, I was aiming, but I aimed the wrong direction.
He is using his anger instead of being used by it.
What? Where did you see me?
You should run!
Oh crap, I'm dead. I psyched myself out and now I'm doomed! Run! What? Wait, I'm still alive? How am I still alive? I've been shot up with bullets so many times. How am I still alive? Okay, now they're gonna destroy all my gargoyles because they're mean.
Stop this foolish pursuit and return home. You will not survive.
It's hard to aim without a cape.
Where is the American?
Yeah, I'm almost out of time already.
꾸덕꾸덕 잘 봐.
It doesn't matter though, even though you take all these people down. Still messed up huge.
Fast, deliberate, merciful. Interesting.
Great moves. Perform a takedown while crawling under a floor grate. Yeah, easier said than done. Well, I'm gonna give it the old college try. How's that? I'm gonna get shot. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna get shot. Run away!
Over here! He moved quick.
Oh my gosh.
Kiyosaki.
Oh, okay. Alright. Well, still alive. Smash. Nah, not gonna get the one through the weak ceiling, though. Smash through a weak ceiling onto an enemy and take them down. How do I get them to be under the ceiling, though?
You three, no more game. Take him down.
I mean, I got 2 medals. That's not bad for screwing up, but still, that's not good. I would need to get that idiot somehow underneath there, or... Oh, no way. No way, no way, no way. No! No! Get... What are you doing? Get down, you freaking... Wow! Wow, 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 wow. Okay. And the game bugged on me, too. That's kind of funny. But I still can't take any hits left. Alright, alright. It's gonna be hard with the buddy system to deal with Beavis and Butthead there, though.
2 left.
Or maybe not. As long as they stay separated like this. Walk in front of the gate. Bye. And then there was one. Maybe he won't see me. Go investigate.
One must always move.
Go investigate,
Don't stay
Mr.
in
Samurai.
one place, or like still waters, you will putrefy.
Man, this thing is clunky. Come on. Wow, I barely pulled that off. Holy cow. Whoa. Oh, I'm rusty, but I'm not dull. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I will take luck. Okay? No, GameStop is not closing down personally. I read the report. There's 400 stores. There's 800 stores in the US. Actually, there might be more than 800. 400 are closing. 2 of them are closing in my area. One of the big ones is going to stay open. The one at the mall does a lot of business near the arcade. And the one downtown by that one Walmart will stay open. The one down by the highway is going to close. And then one over by the pharmacy is going to end up closing. They were relatively big, but I mean, pretty much that mom and pop store by that Italian restaurant Amber and I like to go to. That pretty much put that GameStop out of business because they have really cool specialty like Kamen Rider figures, and they have other things. I love to go to that store just to look at the Kamen Rider and the Japanese stuff. So the dude who opened up his own like mom and pop gaming store, he had the right idea. He combined geek stuff with gaming stuff, and he's got like lots of Super Sentai memorabilia and things like that. That's how I was able to get some of my Rider belts that I have, which are kind of cool. So, I mean, think of it this way, like just to go back to the Tim Drake thing real quick. In every appearance of Tim Drake since what happened to him, how has Tim Drake been portrayed in media? As soon as they changed him, and the only reason I think they changed him in the comic was so that they could change him in movies and TV. Because the Tim Drake that we got in the Titan show, not only did they race swap him, but also they changed his preferences. And also they were trying to do something. They did do something with Tim. Stephanie was supposed to make an appearance in the Gotham Knights game. And as soon as, do you guys remember this? As soon as Tim Drake was changed, Gotham Knights was delayed another 6 months. And they wrote in new dialogue for Tim, and as well as they put flags in the game and stuff like that. Gotham Knights was supposed to release that year that they changed Tim. And then there was their community manager that went to the Gotham Knights Twitter and they said, due to recent changes in DC Comics, we need to update Gotham Knights for, you know, to make sure that we're being sensitive to the right people and things like that. So they went in and they changed aspects of Gotham Knights. They threw Stephanie out of the game. There was supposed to be a Stephanie Brown Easter egg that they chucked. And they made it about Bernard and some other things. And they changed every version of Tim Drake. No straight version of Tim Drake released after he came out. They all disappeared. Every version. In the Titan show and the Gotham Knights video game. Because once you do it, it's permanent. That's why I hate it. If they would allow Elseworlds or, you know, other things, that'd be one thing, but they don't. It's a complete, like, destruction of ideas. Like, no freedom, no ideas. You have to follow what it is. You know? Yeah, exactly. But they did that. Like, actually, we would have gotten Gotham Knights. We would have gotten Gotham Knights 6 nights earlier if the community manager and the people responsible for the narration of the game actually planned on releasing it when they were supposed to. They delayed it another 6 months in order to include stuff that made fans angry. That's why I called them out when I was playing it. Not just the feminism stuff, but also the fact that they changed Tim. I'm pretty sure I ranted about it quite a bit. Because when the game released, nobody really played it. If it would have released when it was supposed to, it would have gotten better traction. I think I'm trying to remember when it was supposed to come out. Was it supposed to be 2020 or... What year did it actually come out? I can't remember. It's all blur because the game was just so blah. It was so average. Okay, so it was supposed to release in 2021. Supposed to release the summer of 2021. It came out October of 2022. When was Tim... Yeah, there it is. Tim Drake came out of the closet August of 2021. Gotham Knights was supposed to release the summer of 2021. There you go. That's the catalyst. I'm never wrong. There's a cause and effect. What would Stephanie's role in Gotham Knights would have been? Just an Easter egg. He'd just be talking about his girlfriend Stephanie and asking Dick for relationship stuff. It's pretty much the same conversation he had about Bernard, but instead of, you know, talking with Jason, he was talking with Dick. It was a throwaway thing. It was just kind of like sowing the seeds of the possibility of seeing another superhero like the Spoiler or something. It's not like Stephanie was going to show up. It's just Tim Drake's dialogue would have been more centered around, you know, hey, you know, can we, you know, wrap this up quick? I have to go see Steph. Like, stuff like that. I mean, Ronnie, just so you know, millions of people don't like what DC did to Tim Drake. Not just people my age who grew up reading Robin and, you know, the Young Justice books and things like that. Like, there are lots of people. There are people today that if you go to Twitter, you can still find people, like tons of thousands of Tim and Steph fans posting Tim X Stephanie all the time. To say there's no market for the Tim and Stephanie fan base is ludicrous. They're all over the place, and they're in mourning. They had no closure. They had, you know, the couple had perfect chemistry. Like, Tim and Stephanie had some of the most non-toxic chemistry in comic book history. They were very cute. They felt like very real characters because that's how teenagers acted in the 90s and the 2000s. You know, they loved each other a lot. And they were a different relationship than what you would expect older couples like Batman and Catwoman or Nightwing and Babs. Let's face it, Nightwing and Babs are in their, you know, mid-30s at least, or early 30s. They're going to act a lot differently than a teenage, like, high school, you know, couple. Or even like a early college couple. Like, Tim and Steph acted like both a high school couple, and then when they went to college, they were your typical, like, these guys are going to make it. They're going to get married. They're going to have kids. You know, they have the right mindset for their relationship because it's not like they're codependent on each other. They work together as a team. They're great partners. They're great, like, support for each other. It was a perfect example of how a comic book relationship is supposed to be. Like my marriage. It was very relatable. They were kind of like... It's very interesting to me. Tim and Stephanie were like the Peter and MJ of your generation. And what did they do? Just like they got rid of Peter Parker and Mary Jane's relationship, which was actually very wholesome and sweet, isn't it interesting that DC did the same thing to the Peter and MJ of the DC Universe, which was Tim and Stephanie? Food for thought.
You survived to fight again. But I would not let beginner's luck cloud your judgment. This test is far from over, and we shall truly see if you are one of us. Make him suffer.
Oops!
You will die in Vector-san.
Wait, did they say I can't use gadgets anymore? Oh, I'm in big trouble then.
Time to die, American.
Nope, no gadget integration. I'm hosed. I have to get 70,000 points without gadgets? Oh, I'm screwed. Yep, I'm hosed.
He is not ready. He is a fraud.
This might be the hardest thing I do. Uh-oh.
He thinks he's one of us.
Oh no, not these guys. Oh, that was a nice little clothesline there. I appreciated that.
Fraud.
It's really weird to me that they would have your sensei trying to kill you. Like, Bruce Wayne's sensei was not out to murder him. during his training. That, you know, the fact that he literally, he tells them, he's telling his own people, hey, I don't like this guy, let's kill him. I don't know.
Watch me. Prove you belong.
No way, what? How did I do that?
We will punish you.
Maybe I don't suck at this as much as I thought I did. I've been listening to the internet too much. I don't want to get a swelled head, but I don't think I'm as terrible as the forum sites say I am at Arkham. Maybe I am, I don't know. Oh no.
This you do.
Whoops. It still hurts my feelings that half the internet thinks I'm like one of the worst Arkham players ever. It's like, I've covered the game more than anybody. Ungrateful whelps. You know? Imagine going up against Talons in the Arkham games? Yeah, of course. Why do they change established characters? Well, they do it for controversy, number one. They don't do it just so they can appease, like... It's hard to explain. They do things because controversy generates revenue and interest. In anime, every year, if you... I don't know if you guys follow, like, any anime news sites. The anime news sites always talk about the synopsis and the hype of a new manga or something like that. And in anime and in Japanese news and stuff, they don't change a character's gender or their preferences to make the news. Like, if they're releasing a book that specializes in that, yeah, they're going to talk about it extensively. Like, hey, just letting you know, this book is about this, it features this. But they don't take, like, an existing character that's been, like, in a manga for, like, 1,000 issues or whatever, and then say, hey, by the way, we're changing this character. In America, the only way that the news agencies actually pay attention to your new comic run is if you do something very sensationalist. Which is why, like, almost every year, like clockwork, for, I think, 10 years, they kept changing a DC character. It's just what they did. But they've always wanted a Robin. And also, if there are depictions of straight couples in comic books, they want there to be turmoil and uneasiness because a lot of these creators don't like straight people. You have a lot of comic book creators that don't like traditional family values, and they don't like the nuclear family, and they don't like the idea that it's okay for superheroes to be happy in a relationship that's not something that they experimented with or something else. So it's like, it's a rejection of normalcy. And they feel that if they can get the comic books in front of young readers, like people in college and high school and things like that, that they can continue to mold, you know, their generation of that mindset. Whereas a lot of people my age and things like that, and even people younger, people from the 2000s who grew up with cornerstone relationships between girls and guys that weren't, like, you know, toxic or anything like that. There are very few relationships in comic books that are for people that are just normal. Most things that they do in comics is to make headlines and to appease, again, smaller voices instead of, like, your core voice. The fact that we have, like, several industries that completely ignore the voice of the many for the voices of the few, it's very disheartening. Because it's like, why be a fan of something if they're just going to ignore you outright? Like, what's the point? Like, they're going to cater to tourists and people that don't even support or buy your product, and they're just going to, as we used to say in the 90s, they're just going to flip their nose up at you and, you know, expect you to continue to support them. That's why people made it a big deal when people were announcing, hey, I'm boycotting this comic now, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. When people were burning Robin books on Instagram and stuff like that, the lady writer was making fun of them and saying, hey, thanks for buying my book, though. But the fact that they were burning this stuff they were burning this stuff because they were upset because they ruined something that they loved. So that was their way of dealing with grief and dealing with rage, and also by making a statement that they would never buy from them again. And what happened to the lady who changed him? Well, she went bankrupt. She ended up leaving DC Comics because none of her books would sell. Everybody who knew about that author, they blacklisted her, and she never profited at DC ever again. And she's struggling for where she is now because people don't want to support a creative person that's toxic and does things just for the sake of doing them. And also she said bad things about 90s kids too, so that pissed everybody off. She made a Young Justice comic where she was saying that the 90s was toxic masculinity and, you know, misogyny and, like, all this fictional stuff. And the funny thing is, she was a baby in the 90s. She wasn't even a teenager or a college kid, so she has no right to speak on things that she never experienced. You know? If you're gonna write, like, a 90s throwback comic for DC Comics, then you would hire someone who at least, you know, was in college or high school or even grade school in the 90s that remembers what the 90s was like. You don't take somebody who was born in, like, 1998 and say, here, why don't you explain to us how our era was so bad? I mean, that's just stupid, right? But this is what DC does. And Marvel, when they go back and they do a storyline from the past point of view, they hire somebody that has no idea what the past was like, and they make this romanticized, like, victim mentality version of the 90s that never existed.
You are nothing.
It's crazy, but, I mean, that's what happens when you give these people powers. They're insane. All I am is I'm just the man, like, showing a reflection of what society is in the own mirror, and their reflection makes them mad, but it's their reflection. They're doing it to themselves. Just because I'm, like, saying, hey, look at this, you know, that's my job. I just point people out and say, this is what's happening. And then people get mad at me for just, like, literally holding a mirror up to what reality is. That's where a lot of my haters come from, is they say things like, well, you changed a lot. It's like, actually, society changed around me, and all I am is, I'm just holding a hand mirror up to you guys, and you're freaking out and hissing like vampires. I mean, that speaks volumes itself. If you were totally fine and rational, then you'd have no problem with people saying this stuff. But the fact that it upsets them to the point now where they literally will, you know, contemplate yeeting somebody for hurting their feelings, that just shows you that they're wrong to begin with. You know? Oh, vampires? Is that not the correct plural? Is it just vampire, or is it supposed to be vampires? I don't know. You were born in 1998, but that's fair. I mean, but think about it. Well, wouldn't you be best to write a comic book, like, for when you were a teenager? Like, let's say DC Comics approaches you, and they want you to write a throwback to Young Justice. Are you going to be punching down on the original, like, stuff that Chuck Dixon, Gal Simone, and the writers of, like, Young Justice did, which Young Justice was still regarded as one of the highest rated young adult comic books of all time. Like, Young Justice had an amazing readership, and the books was about fun. It wasn't about politics. I was a Young Justice reader. They never brought up Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, the wars in Iraq. All they did was just focus on the teenagers having fun and being a different team than the Titans. They weren't the Titans, they were Young Justice. They were completely different. They were 90s kids. Talking about video games, comic books, anime, action figures, getting together on the weekend to do superhero things. They'd have sleepovers in the Mount Justice, and they do all kinds of stuff. They acted like normal teenagers. Normal teenagers in the 90s didn't talk about what people think they did. Never came up. So to go back and write these, like, very, like, propaganda smear targeted books to make fun of like 90s life when, I mean, the woman wasn't even alive in the 90s, really. You know, she's writing a romanticized, vindictive version of the 90s that didn't exist. That made a lot of people angry, and I think that's a justified reaction to her, to boycotting her and making sure she never works again, because she doesn't deserve to touch a Batman book ever again. She has the wrong mindset. You know, she's there to cause problems. She's not there to further the legacy or pay tribute to something great. She's there to punch down on it and be like, hey, look at this. Look at how goofy the 90s were. Look at how toxic and bad and blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing. Because of what she said, it made a ripple effect on Twitter. There are still people to this day, when they read Chuck Dixon and stuff, I see it all the time. They're like, oh, man, I'm back to reading this. And up, there's the misogyny. There's the, you know, anti-this, anti-that. None of that existed back then. These people are so brainwashed that they can't even go back and enjoy stuff from the past because they're always looking for phantoms that don't exist, and then they create them. And then they make all this stuff on Twitter that, you know, gets tons of attention with like-minded idiots, and they keep punching down on books from the, you know, the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. You know, they can't enjoy stuff. They can only enjoy what's now. I was talking to a Robin fan that he said, even though the best characterization of Robin was from 1993, Tim Drake, until 2009, he refuses to read that era of Chuck Dixon because he says, well, it's Chuck Dixon. Derp. He says, I prefer 2009 through 2011. That's the best version of Tim Drake. Derp, derp, derp. Derp, 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 derp. Derp. It really makes me wonder if these people were dropped on their head or if they took a lot of drugs in school. Because, you know, a lot of teachers used to pressure kids to take mind drugs. I think where a lot of this stuff occurred is there's just a lot of stupid people. It might not be their fault.
Boryaku?
Yeah, also, can we talk about why did they ruin Jason Todd's costume? Like, DC has gone out of their way for the past, what is it, like 3 or 4 years to completely make a mockery of Jason Todd's look. And then tell us, hey, this is Jason's new look. It's horrible. It's like, why are you basically giving him like a COVID mask and all this other stuff? He doesn't look like a dangerous anti-hero. He looks like a clown. You know? He looks like a mix between like an edgy K-pop star and like some dude that went to what do they call it? A thrift store. Like, he doesn't look like this hardened vigilante that is like paramilitary or something like that, which is basically Jason's style of combat. He wears combat boots with steel toes. He carries guns. He has a bulletproof vest. He has a jacket that's flame resistant. He has a hood that's got all kinds of technology, like in the mask and things like that. That's who Jason is. Jason is supposed to be like the anti-Batman. And they're just dumbing him down over and over and over again to the point where it's just ridiculous. Like, they're making Jason who he isn't either. And we're supposed to clap like seals and be like, yay, we love this change, when we don't. Well, go back. This is why people don't like smart people, okay? Go back and look at the sequence of events. Gotham Knights was supposed to come out in 2021. True or false? Gotham Knights was supposed to release in the spring of 2021 and then the summer. Tim Drake came out in August. There's no way they could release the game because they were pressured by people at DC and other things to make sure that Tim Drake was represented correctly because it was during the pandemic. Like, everybody was, you know, worried about pronouns and all this other stuff. So, unfortunately, Gotham Knights was a casualty of that. They had to add things. They had to you know, really improve. Because I heard somebody actually got to playtest an early build, and Batgirl did not act like a raging feminist. You know, she acted like Batgirl. There was no, you know, cornerstone speech about how Mr. Freeze is toxic and, you know, all the boys that agree with Mr. Freeze. But none of that. It didn't exist. The narrative director went in and they changed things when the 6 months they had left before they released the game, or 8 months or whatever. But there's a sequence of events. It's just they don't want people to pay attention to things. I bookmark things, though, because it's like, why did they, you know, that's interesting. Because I always like to think, I'm like, this is too much of a coincidence. Why was the game supposed to come out in 2020? And then they delayed it, but then earlier in 2020, just a few weeks before they announced that they're going to delay the game again, that they changed Tim Drake. It's like, you're telling me that this is just all a coincidence? That it has no bearing? That it's just all like, you know, the universe just being coincidental? I don't think so. I think things are planned. I think things are discussed. And I think that everything has a cause and effect.
Interesting. You spare their lives, even though they will not spare yours. There is no room for your self-righteous Western morality here. It will only get in your way. Kill him!
See? His master is just crazy. He's just a mean man.
Show him
This is not Ninja School of Hard Knocks. I mean, his master was never like this. Even like his really ruthless master that beat the tar out of him, like, you know, whenever he did like memories of Chuck Dixon's run. Like, the guy wasn't adamantly trying to kill him, he was trying to teach him. Anyway, breaking and entering, perform a takedown through a weak wall. Ugh. Over the ledge, hang on the ledge and pull an enemy down. This one I hate. The caltrop trip. Knock down an enemy with the caltrops and then take him down. Ugh. Is it timed again? No. Okay, so what is the activation system that they gave me? What is the thing I need to be concerned about?
숨지 말고 빨리 나와.
But if I do the pounce attack, won't they hear me?
He is faster than we thought. 자세히 찾아봐.
I think I always struggled with this one. Maybe. Over the ledge, hanging from a ledge, pull down an enemy, caltrop. Okay, how did I do this a year ago, me?
빨리 찾아.
Nope. That was not it. Maybe that was what I was supposed to do. I don't think so, though. We might be able to pull this off, though. Although we did get hit by a sniper rifle, which is not good. We did get nasty with the sniper rifle. Perform a takedown through a weak wooden wall. Ugh. There's also mines everywhere, too. That's not very nice.
Exceptional.
Did they say exceptional? Yeah, let's go with that. Not to get them to walk on stuff. How many gadgets? How many times do they give me the caltrops? I have 3. Oh man. Nope.
Wah!
He's down.
Kill him!
Nope, messed that up.
We will shame him.
Oh, he tripped on them. No! No, 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 no. He actually tripped on them, but... Nope, they're not gonna give it to me. Course not. Course not, course not, course not, course not, course not.
약한 놈.
Nighty night, lady.
I wonder whose test this really is.
빨리 못 일어나?
Oh yeah, I forgot about... I know people aren't gonna like this, but... if I could choose one version of Tim Drake for us to still have, it would be Duckman. Because Duckman is much better than Fruit Loops Drake. And, you know, I thought about this long and hard, but the Duckman, uh-oh. Duckman was a better outcome for Tim.
He cannot hide forever.
And I made fun of Duckman pretty thoroughly, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Like the Mallard Drake thing. I would take that version of Tim, which was insufferable, over Switch Batter Tim. But this is the thing, like, most of these people, like, the globalization people, they pushed a lot of their stuff on us when we didn't want that. Like, some of us, like, didn't care about things. You know, we had no... people's private life was their private life. It wasn't until they started to invite us into their private life that we started to have a problem with it. And then they told us, you have to be okay with this. That's where the pushback happened, is not only did we have to accept them, you know, of course, but then we were forced to be invited into their fantasies that they're living out through comic books and other things, and we have no say in it. Same thing with movies. They don't even tell you, like in a TV show, like what the content is So that when you see it, it's a surprise, but it's not a surprise that you want to see. It doesn't mean you're anti-anything, you just don't support that stuff. They tell you that you're not allowed to have your preferences and all this other stuff. You know, it's like a form of control, really. If they control the entertainment, they control the media, they control the news, they can tell you to do whatever they want you to do. You can't escape it. And if you do try to escape it, they attack you, don't they? And, you know, for some of us in our 40s and 30s and even, like, late 20s, this isn't what life was like. You know, people would have different, like, imagine, like, getting into massive squabbles over an anime that you didn't like. And, like, destroying friendships and other things about it because you didn't like the way a character was portrayed or something like that. That's what they've done, except they've taken it to, like, a 1,000th degree. And they expect you to go along with everything that they do. And if you say anything against it, like, I feel uncomfortable, or, you know, I don't like this, you know, I'm not going to support this, then they turn you into a villain. That's, you know, that's where the problem occurred. And I'm very happy with Japanese people, which, you know, they're no angels. They have a lot of perverted stuff. But they at least have the foresight to not combine things. Because they know that, you know, most people who buy, we'll say, lewd stuff with, you know, girls and guys being attracted to each other, they're not going to randomly throw in a character there that is, you know, ogling, you know, they're not suddenly going to make one of the women like, okay, now this woman of the show, she doesn't like the MC, she likes one of the harem girls. Never happens. Why? Because they don't mix and match. If you want to go see specialty stuff, you have to buy the genre. The genre exists, go watch it. But America's like, you know what? Nobody's watching the genres where we put this stuff, so we're going to throw it into everything else. And that's when people are like, hold on, wait a second, I don't like this, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm not watching this. And they're like, oh, you're not watching this because of this and that. So they turn, not just culture, but they weaponize their personal lives and their private lives against you. And that's why all these groups formed against them, is because they didn't like it. They didn't have a say, they couldn't escape it, and, you know, people just, they had fatigue of it before fatigue existed. Does that make sense? But this is the type of approach that I have with this, and I'm called Hitler. You know, I was swatted, which even Google doesn't, like, Google AI keeps saying, like, you know, there's no record or incident where I've been talking about this for years. You know, detail after detail of how it happened, what was the catalyst, when it occurred, the date, all this other stuff. And even the computer, like the AI overlords, you know, they don't think that people would go that far. But so many people did have things like that happen. It's stupid and ridiculous, but it's true. That's what makes it so insane. Oops. Whoopsies.
Such a long journey only to
Tim
be
the Duck.
defeated by our own demon.
It's not our own demons. You gave them shotguns, you goofball. You equipped your ninjas with shotguns. Who does that? Wow. He's like, it was your own hubris that caused this. No, I think it was a shotgun shell to the face, but here we are. Let's go with that.
Interesting. You spare their lives, even though they will not spare yours. There is no room for your self-righteous Western morality here. It will only get in your way. Kill him!
Yeah, but that's, I mean, Amber and I have, like, a very sensible approach to all this stuff. And yet we're thrown into the same category of some, like, of the very mean-spirited, you know, people that are, like, saying really nasty stuff about people, you know? Whereas, like, we come from it from a common sense point of view, but the problem is you're not allowed to challenge and you're not allowed to express concern or say you don't like something, and they villainize you. And that's what the internet did to us. Like, 5 years from now, people are going to look back at, like, this weird era and realize that Amber and I we never went back on our morality, we never did anything. It's society that was warped around us, and we were an immovable object. We kept with our same beliefs and our same standards that we always had. The only difference is I started swearing because I couldn't deal with all the online stuff anymore. It was too much.
Find him!
That's all.
He's here!
Dang it. They'll be looking at the smoke now. Uh-oh. Great. Not gonna get an easy win this time.
Scars are rewards for what you've suffered, for what you've learned, and for what you've conquered. He will thank you when
Well, this might take a while, guys, because their patrol methods are, they're all up in my business now. Maybe I should try to throw this down while I can.
His anger drives
Oh, that's a shuriken, you idiot.
motivates him. You must use it against him.
카보이를 놓치면 안 돼.
Did he step on it? No. I don't know why you guys say it's better than Catwoman's. It doesn't seem like it's better than Catwoman's because they keep avoiding it. Uh-oh.
빨리 찾아!
They keep avoiding it.
불쌍한 놈.
I think I remember having this be a royal pain last time too. They keep avoiding the traps.
Hey, shameful.
숨지 말고 빨리.
Da-da-da-da-da.
We will shame him.
The troubles you have will only pass with death. Why prolong your suffering when it could all end now?
카보이를 놓치면 안 돼.
Young Justice isn't in the playlist? What do you mean? Young Justice DLC for what?
Where is
It's
the
not in the
Mecca?
LEGO DC Supervillains playlist? Really? Hold up.
Why waste your life so foolishly, outsider? It's so much safer for you back home.
빨리 찾아.
He needs to go eat his American hamburgers.
자세히 찾아봐. 숨지 말고 빨리 나와.
It has been a long, lonely journey. It may even be your luck if it were to all end here.
카보이를 놓치면 안 돼. 빨리 찾아. 자세히 찾아봐.
Turn your weaknesses to strength, and you will succeed. Do not deny your fear, or let it use you. Instead, embrace it, and use it against those
Well,
who
Batman
oppose
Sensei in the animated series was a nice guy. I think Kyodai Ken killed him. I don't remember. The Night of the Ninja and the follow-up episode with the Death Touch, I don't watch very much. Actually, no, I watch Night of the Ninja more than I watch I don't like the second appearance of Kyodai Ken. The first appearance with Kyodai Ken is really good. Plus, Robin kicks him in the face. It's funny. But his other stuff, I didn't like his second appearance. The fight on the volcano was cool and everything. Don't get me wrong, but how are we gonna get them to trip on stuff?
Where is the American?
How are we gonna get them to trip?
How you made it this far, Florida, is a mystery to me. And I enjoy mysteries.
아버지를 놓치면 안 돼.
끝내버려.
You guys have any advice for the cat drops?
Darkness only triumphs when there is no light.
구석구석 잘 봐.
I have 2 left.
Where is the American?
I have 2 left.
끝내버려.
I used 1 already.
Time will prove you right or wrong. You must be sure you are ready for the shoes.
Day of the Samurai is
you are
what it's
about to
called?
wear.
찾아야 돼. 구석구석 잘 봐.
There are 2 videos that aren't on my LEGO DC Supervillains playlist. What is it? And I'll try to fix it after the stream.
You will only succeed if you acknowledge your faults and fears and work to overcome them.
끝내버려.
빨리 찾아.
Another? Hard to believe.
빨리 못 일어나.
I have said you cannot train here, outsider. But I will add that the greatest
See?
pleasures in life are had in doing what others say you cannot do.
구석구석 잘 봐. Where is the American? 끝내버려.
Stop searching. Happiness is closer than you think. For you, it is not a matter of
찾아야
gaining,
돼.
but letting go. Let go. And end this futile journey.
구석구석 잘 봐. Where is the American? 끝내버려.
All climbs grow tougher near the summit. Will you keep climbing, or will you fall?
찾아야 돼.
It is all up to you. This is taking longer than it
Throw the
should.
caltraps at her? Are you sure?
구석구석 잘 봐. Where is the American? 끝내버려. 찾아야 돼.
We will throw you down the mountain with all the other failures if you are unworthy.
구석구석 잘 봐. Where is the American? 어디 갔어?
No, it didn't work. You said throw it at her, it doesn't work. Does not work. This is why I hate the caltraps, is they don't work. But it looks like I'm not going to get it this year because I have to get to the next stream anyway.
코딩이.
Yeah, it's fine. We're just gonna beat them and call it. I'm not gonna get all 3 medals this year.
In battle,
Because I hate
to
the
victory
caltrops.
is
They don't
surprise.
work. There's like one particular way that you're supposed to do it, and if you screw it up, you're hosed. So not a fan of that. And it doesn't replenish it either. Once it's gone, it's gone. Like whatever. But that's what makes it challenging is, if you screw up, that's it.
Oh well.
There's a particular way you have to do that, like, caltrop trip. It's very tricky. I mean, I always do the Cold Cold Heart DLC and the Brewer Swain initiative, so yeah, I'll do both of these next year.
You have learned much since you first arrived. But I wonder if you have learned to overcome your fear, your anger, your hate. Or do these emotions still cloud your judgment? Let us see.
And I can use all my gadgets and stuff again, right?
Die!
Yep.
넌 여기 있을 놈이 아니야.
Oh, I couldn't see where the sword was coming from. That's a problem. I have to get 50,000? I should be able to still pull it off. Wait, I only get a limited amount of those drop things, so that's annoying.
기려먹을 놈.
Nope. So I can't continually use that gadget. Why,
Does not belong. Kill him. You ready? 넌 준비가 안 됐어.
I only have to get 50,000, so just slow down. It's not like I have to get a high number. It's not the 70,000 range, it's just 50.
He's not ready. Give me your best. Impressive.
Get him.
Oh! Mr. Kung Fu Man.
여기서 끝내자.
Wipe the floor with his face.
Dang it!
망신시켜놔.
And Shiva's coming soon, I believe.
You do not. You do not.
Flying man glitch. You're gonna say something in the comments after this, Miles? I mean, if you want to. Bummer I couldn't get the, that one medal, though, this year. That sucks. Oh, well.
Watch me.
Dude. There we go. All the medals. Now we just have to fight Shiva whenever Shiva decides to show her face. Shoot.
This will be humiliation. Oh! Here I come.
There is no break shields button. I messed up again.
Time to die, American. Now you will...
Just have to beat the ninjas. And then Shiva shows up. I think.
Attack!
Am I misremembered? No, Shiva she shows up, doesn't she?
You part. Show me something. 죽을 놈의 새끼.
Yes, she does.
Fraud. Expose him. You're just a man. Prove you belong. 죽어라, 외국 놈아. 날 가치가 없어.
Out here, a man settles his own affairs. You hear?
Just wait. 미친 새끼.
이런 가능성도 없는 놈.
You can't do any takedowns on Shiva, right? No.
영.
Oh, that's...
넌 여기 있을 놈이 아니야. 자,
오샤!
he will not last.
살 가치도 없는 새끼.
Slowly but surely we're beating her. More or less. Okay, never mind. We're in trouble.
고통을 주자. 죽어.
Oh, dang it, she got me. That's not good. I'm in trouble. That's right, Shiva's much harder in the Initiative DLC. Much harder.
이하.
Dang it, I'm gonna die.
빌려먹을 놈.
Yep, I'm gonna die. Screwed up.
망신시켜라. 그는 혼자다.
Blocks. Oh, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, gonna die, gonna die.
야타.
Yep. She blocks everything.
여기서 끝내.
No way, I pulled it off, holy crap. I didn't think I was gonna pull it off. Nah. Whatever. If this was a death trial, wouldn't Bruce have to face the very best students? Are you saying the ninjas aren't very good against Bruce? Is that what you're saying?
You have done well, novice, but you still have much to learn. For the time being, find a rag and clean the floors.
We never get to see him clean the floors. Alright, so anyway guys, that's it, that's all. Next up is going to be Marvel Ultimate Alliance, an oldie but a goodie. Oh, have I heard of Kazoo? Yeah, she's a famous VTuber. In fact, if I remember correctly, she was the first VTuber ever. And she disappeared for many, many years and came back, and everybody says it's not the same Kazunai or whatever. She's a brunette VTuber that has a pink bow in her hair, and she has a pink dress, I believe. She came out in 2000. I don't remember. Was it 2012, 2015? I don't remember. She was the first ever VTuber. I know that. It was brand new technology, and now she's going to be in Fortnite or something. Do I think they'll add Batman the Animated Series in Fortnite? I don't know. I mean, they see Fortnite as a cash grab now. They can do all kinds of stuff. But I got to get the next stream started, guys. I'll see you on the Marvel one. I'm going to get the music going and get the system set up. You can ask me more Batman questions on the Batman stream tonight. Okay? Alright, thank you guys for watching, and see you on the next one.